Hello and welcome to Steve's Backyard Bonsai. Today I'm going to be pruning up my bald cypress forest, and boy does it need it. Not so much the branches, I like what's happening there, but the landscape is definitely needing some attention. And that's where I'm going to start today, and then we'll get to the trees. There are 3 dead ones. Before I get started, I just want to show you my nice new topper to my turntable, which works as smooth as can be. I love it. All right, let's get to work. Okay, here we go. I'm going to be pulling out weeds that should have been pulled out long ago, and I'm going to try and get the root. The grasses are going to be the deepest roots probably. I broke it, but no matter what, I've got to get the weeds out. I'll speed us through this. First, I'll pull out. These have lovely flowers. I wish I could incorporate them in the design. I'm shooting with another camera right now. The flowers can be extremely pretty and pretty tall. Not sure what to do about that long term, but right now they're coming out. All right, we're going to go into time lapse while I do this. I don't want to waste anyone's time. That came out with the roots. All right, so you may not have realized that this was a Penjing by a creek side. I've got some hiding to do of some of the infrastructure here, right here, and back here. You might be able to see a little vinyl tubing. This is the nicest base of the trees. And these 2 were the original trees. The rest of these were cuttings off of that tree, off of these 2 trees. I had 3, 1 died. So the cuttings are probably from all 3 trees. This tree died right here, this one and this one, and I believe I predicted at least 2, if not all 3, would perish. So I'm going to continue cleaning up the landscape, paring down the moss, and I'll take these 3 trees out, and I have some trees to replace them with. I'm going to try and inject some soil in places where I need to straighten out the trees, or in this case, give the tree a little bit more strength. And I think I want to move this tree a little bit over this way. And with this tree out of the way, I think I want to move this tree a little further from this one if I can. So that's what I'm going to do next. I'm going to dig all the moss out right here. And I've got a little leptonella in there, which is great. I also have a bunch of leptonella growing in pots. If you can see this like reddish with the green tips, it's a beautiful, beautiful plant. and I think it would look well here, but it didn't do well when I had it in here. So I don't think it likes water as much as these other trees like water. And I'm going to try and preserve this moss if I can. Interesting. Yeah. There's a root here that comes from this tree, I think, which I'll have to bury. I'm digging up this tree and this tree. They didn't have much in the way of roots to begin with. They were cuttings. So I'll preserve this whole piece. This tree's steady. This tree is steady for the size that it is. This tree's steady for the size. This one. And like I said, this one should move over this way a little bit. I think that's where I'm going to start. Oh wait, I got one more tree to dig out. I'm probably gonna pull out a lot of this old substrate. I had muck and the long grains of sphagnum over here to try and preserve this berm. But I don't think I'm going to need that. Let's get this guy out. Once again, not much in the way of roots. Let's see. I might be able to move this one over easier than the ones on the other side. This in some water temporarily. Let me dig this out. Some of that leptonella. I'll show you what that looks like when it's en masse. Here's the leptonella I have growing in a small rectangular pot. It's quite something. It does flower. The flowers are not very impressive, but I think the foliage is. It can make a great accent into this Penjing. All right. I'm going to dig out for that other tree, moving it closer to this corner. Here's the root system I'm working with. Any way you look at it, this root is too long. I have to see what fits. I think it should go in like this and be about right here. I'm going to fill this in with new soil and work it in as I go. Checking out the placement. All right, let me work that in. Part of that root's sticking up here. There's another part of that root sticking up. The squeak that you hear is this branch cutter needing oil. I like this placement much better. It won't take long for this soil to darken up. I'm going to want to get some stones against this tree. Cut off these bottom branches. Just filling in a little bit. At the base of that tree. And back in here. And I do want to sturdy this tree up a little bit. Deep root on that one. That'd be mycelium down there. Probably shouldn't have pulled this one out. Too late now. Let me get some water on that. I want to go real deep because I don't want to cut that root. Let's see if I can do this without cutting it. Right there. Take the bottom branches off. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'm thinking of not putting another tree in here. That would make 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 trees in the planting, which is plenty. This is not the healthiest looking tree, but it is healthy. And I like this slope right here to the river. So I'll get some sand on there and plant some moss close up. And I'll get that straightened out. Let me get a little water on there. Nice and straight. Just want to steady a little bit. Yeah. Okay. This tree moving over to here. This one to here. So, do I dig it up first? I think so. Once again, it's pretty deep. Oh yeah, really down there looking for moisture. You get it in water, and let me do a little digging. I purposely made this in a deep pot so that the roots could find water if the top dried out. And it looks as though that strategy has paid off. Someday I'm actually going to have to repot these trees. Definitely going in the same pot. But digging it out without disturbing the creek bed, that'll be hard. I'm going to put it off as long as possible. What to do? Well, I've got new roots forming at the top, and this root is just going to hinder me. So I am going to excise it. And I'm going to move the tree right here. So the trees that I was going to put in this planting, I'm going to preserve for if any of these die as a result of what I'm doing today. All right, let's get that sand on there. See what that looks like. Get these big pieces. But I think I made the right decision not having a tree here. At least I think that way right now. We'll see. Let's prune the canopy.